Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. Watch my video and subscribe my channel. Liam's Tumor scam. What did Grace do to him for $1 million? Bold and the Beautiful put Liam Spencer through the ringer last week with a near-fatal gunshot wound and a death sentence from a tumor on the CBS soap. Now, Liam recuperates following a treatment that reportedly removed that malignancy. But instead, some viewers worry if Grace Buckingham's surgery might have been nothing more than producing a superficial slice on his head. Some admirers go as far as to imply he never had a tumor in the first place, with Grace Buckingham getting herself a fast $1 million with a hoax. But others fear he will still have that tumor when Finn gets a new MRI and Grace disappears with her new money. Then some B&B fans assume Liam may have had a tumor removed, and he will emerge a new guy, personality-wise. Whatever is happening, viewers witnessed evidence that Grace Buckingham was lying to Bill Spencer when she picked up the scalpel to operate instead of her colleague. So, fans think something is awry with Dr. Buckingham and this so-called surgery repair. Bold and the Beautiful. Finn drops hint about Liam Spencer's main caretaker. Looking back at the moments from last week on Bold and the Beautiful, Grace Buckingham was overprotective of her patient, Liam Spencer. Even Finn picked up on this. On Friday's B&B show, Finn stated how Grace noticed the tumor, which hints at how this diagnosis started. When the surgery was about to begin, many commented that Grace looked like she was battling off guilt. The same type of behavior was observed from Grace once Liam's surgery was complete during Friday's Bold and Beautiful episode. As Bill sung her praises for Liam Spencer's new lease on life, Grace looked uneasy. Mostly the fans characterize her as looking guilty. B&B. Liam kept heavily sedated. Bold and the Beautiful offered us a twist after Liam's operation. He apparently underwent brain surgery. Yet just hours later following this risky treatment, Grace informed Bill Spencer to take his son home, and he would be okay. This startled Bill, but he went along with Grace Buckingham's orders, as she is the expert. But when Finn and Bridget Forrester hurried to Liam after hearing out, Bill took him home. They were full of anxiety. Grace was nowhere to be found, and Liam was kept highly sedated by a nurse that Grace assigned to Liam at home. Some Bold and the Beautiful viewers think Finn will be the one to figure this out once he takes a look under Liam's bandage. Bold and the Beautiful. Finn finds a superficial cut on the head. Without Grace Buckingham around, Finn may take it upon himself to examine Liam's incision from his supposed brain operation next week on Bold and the Beautiful. Some supporters anticipate he will uncover nothing more than a small cut on the head. Since Finn suggested it was Grace who detected this tumor, fans surmise that she could have exploited another patient's MRI images. She may have notified the other doctors that the photographs belonged to Liam. Up until now, they wouldn't have a reason not to believe Grace. So, assuming this is the case, they trusted what she was saying and went along with her diagnosis. They didn't challenge her conclusions, especially if she replaced another tumor patient's testing for Liam's tests. B&B. What did Grace do to Liam? All kinds of theories for this Bold and Beautiful plotline spin around the social media platforms concerning what Grace Buckingham did to Liam Spencer last week. One theory has Grace doing this procedure without telling anyone the possible outcomes. Some fans predict Liam will wake up with a new personality, and potentially someone who might not recall those close to him. The video below addresses that prospect of a new personality. Still, Grace conned Bill and Liam even if the brain tumor was removed. She showed a doctor who reportedly created this experimental operation. But while we watched, it was Grace who proceeded to use the scalpel on Liam. The man she stated was the doctor was in the room with her, but he followed her lead. So, some admirers claim she tricked a desperate father, Bill Spencer, out of $1 million. Her anxiousness about getting his million into her account was apparent on film a few occasions. Then she got that weird phone call. It seems she was worried when promising the guy on the other and the money was on the way. Grace set it up for a nurse to monitor Liam around the clock on Bold and the Beautiful last week. He is kept sedated, but maybe it was for just enough time for her to go out of town. Because if this was a $1 million hoax, this lady is in danger. But if she doesn't flee and manages to turn up, she surely has a lot to explain on the CBS serial. Liam Spencer wakes up, thinks he married to Steffi Forrester. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers for this week's state Liam Spencer's loved ones will wait expectantly for status updates. Now that it's becoming evident Grace Buckingham is a con artist, we don't know what she did to Liam in that operating room. It's likely that Dr. Buckingham actually made Liam's health worse while she was doing his rushed tumor excision. What if she removed more than the tumor and Liam has major difficulties when he wakes up? Here's what is coming up next on the CBS soap. Spoilers down below. Grace Buckingham operates. Liam Spencer went under the knife with a con artist, and no one knows what precisely Grace Buckingham did to Dollar Bill's son when no one was watching. Rumor has said Grace inflicted more damage than anyone thinks. Will Liam suffer from amnesia when he wakes up? B&B spoilers reveal when the dust settles and Grace Buckingham is dealt with, Bill will understand that there is something really awry with his kid. Seeing as how Liam's surgery was meant to be on his brain, there's a lot that may go wrong. Word on the internet is that Liam will suffer from memory loss post-surgery. But what will Liam not remember? Memory loss is a tough problem for medical practitioners, and every case is distinct. Some people suffer from short-term memory loss, and others battle long-term. Liam loses his memories? There's a very real potential that Liam Spencer could wake up after surgery and not remember anything that happened recently. What if he thinks that he is still married to his ex-wife, Steffi Forrester, or Hope Logan? Even worse, B&B spoilers imply Liam could wake up and not remember anyone. Sheila visits Liam, Grace questioned. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers for the week of July 21st hint to expect some surprises and curveballs. For one thing, Sheila Carter Sharp visits Liam Spencer and Steffi Forrester Finnegan. Meanwhile, John Finnegan gets suspicious, but will Grace Buckingham get honest? Keep reading, and let's chat about what is coming up this week in the CBS soap drama, Liam Spencer's Gratitude. Let's start off with Liam, who survived 2 major surgeries. The first operation was for his gunshot wound. Then, Grace and Bill Spencer rushed Liam out of the hospital and into a surgery center. Although this was not an approved treatment in the U.S., Grace and her mysterious colleague executed the operation on Liam nevertheless. Grace texted Bill 2 photographs. The first was supposedly of Liam's tumor. The second image was of a brain with no tumor. Sure, Bill and Liam will be overwhelmed with thanks to Grace. I have to question if both those MRI scans belong to Liam, or if everyone just got tricked. John Finnegan's doubt. While everyone is pleased by Liam's miracle, others have questions. Hope Logan kept expressing how bizarre it all was. Finn also had worries and inquiries. At one point, Finn tried to get the literature or numbers, but Bill didn't have any of that stuff. Bill couldn't even remember the surgeon's name. We may see Finn try to track down Grace to question her. With Grace collecting $1 million, will she take off? Avoid inquiries while staying at work at the hospital? Or does she already have a smart cover story? Sheila Carter Sharp's visit. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers for the week of July 21st state that a snapshot shows Sheila visiting Liam and Steffi at Bill's house. Liam is still in bed with a bandage around his head. Steffi is sitting in a chair close to Liam, but is glancing across at Sheila. Steam doesn't seem concerned, and Sheila is dancing around showing off her naked 8 toes. Week of July 21st, 2025. Fans might also see Lee Finnegan, who looks to be holding a secret. Could the good doctor have staged Luna Nozawa's death? Meanwhile, Nick Marone crosses paths with Taylor Hayes. Maybe they work together to make sure Brooke Logan and Ridge Forrester stay apart. The air in the Forrester Creations executive office was thick with apprehension, a palpable tension clinging to every polished surface and comfortable seat. Hope Logan paced, her motions agitated and her brow wrinkled with concern, while Steffi Forrester Finnegan, though apparently collected, held the armrests of her chair, her knuckles white. Bill Spencer, typically the picture of aggressive assurance, was a shell of his former self, a deep worry carved into the creases around his eyes. Their collective fear centered on one man, Liam Spencer, whose recent medical experience had plunged their lives into an abyss of uncertainty and mistrust. Just days previously, Liam had been on the edge of death, first from a near-fatal gunshot wound, and then, unexpectedly, from a terrible diagnosis, an aggressive brain tumor. The speed and severity of his fall had been terrifying, a swirl of emergency room turmoil, terrible prognosis, and then a sudden, almost incredible gleam of hope, an experimental procedure, championed by Dr. Grace Buckingham. Now, Liam was purportedly healing, the tumor supposedly removed, but a gnawing sense of worry tormented everyone close to him. The initial shock of Liam's shooting, a violent act at the hands of the increasingly unstable Luna Nozoa, had hardly gone when the brain tumor announcement came. It had felt like a horrible twist of fate, driving Liam to the brink. Bill, anxious to save his son, had been an open book to Grace, eager to throw any amount of money at a solution. And Grace, presumably a paragon of medical skill and compassion, had presented the miracle cure, a highly specialized, experimental surgery that only she and a mystery, unidentified colleague could execute, for a cool $1 million. Bill, blinded by parental love and urgency, hadn't hesitated, wiring the enormous sum with little more than Grace's word. But suddenly, the details surrounding Liam's miraculous recovery were beginning to unravel, thread by frightening thread. The procedure itself had been a clandestine event, performed not in a well-equipped hospital, but in a makeshift surgical center with Grace herself holding the scalpel, while the purported expert surgeon, Dr. Odekuri, stood by, curiously silent and seemingly obedient. This had immediately aroused red flags for discerning viewers, who questioned the ethics and legality of such a surgery. Why the secrecy? Why the haste to take Liam home scan hours after brain surgery, a technique known for its protracted and delicate recovery? And why was Grace so uncomfortably ready for Bill to transfer the funds, even receiving a cryptic phone call that suggested she was in debt or being blackmailed? The parts of a frightening puzzle were slowly falling into place. Finn, ever the smart physician, was among the first to voice his worries. He had caught up on Grace's excessively overprotective behavior towards Liam, observing her near-exclusive control over his care. He recalled Grace being the one to find the tumor, a detail that now reverberated with an alarming resonance. The fast discharge, the high sedation Liam was kept under at home, and Grace's sudden withdrawal following the surgery, leaving Liam in the care of a nurse she personally assigned. All these evidence pointed to a meticulously crafted deceit. Finn's professional instincts screamed foul play. He suspected that if he had the chance to study Liam's incision, he would find nothing more than a superficial cut, a cosmetic scar made to fake a complex brain operation. The popular notion, whispered throughout social media and discussed with increasing anxiety among Liam's loved ones, was that Grace Buckingham had created an intricate hoax. Perhaps Liam never had a tumor at all. It was very likely that Grace, anxious for money, had falsified the diagnosis, possibly taking another patient's MRI scans and presented them as Liam's. The other doctors, trusting Grace, would have just gone along with her conclusions, having no cause to question her integrity. The quick onset of Liam's symptoms, the dizziness and collapse, may have been attributed to a previous head injury from his fall following Bill's outburst, and any prolonged distress could easily be controlled with medication Grace herself supplied. The thought was chilling. Had Liam been needlessly put through this horrible event, all for Grace's financial gain? The financial aspect was apparent. Grace's nervousness about the $1 million, her obvious satisfaction when the deal was complete, and that unexplained phone call, all suggested she was beholden to someone or possibly a gambling issue had led her down this perilous path. If it was a fraud, she was in severe trouble. Her sudden withdrawal only reinforced these suspicions, as if she had fled with her ill-gotten gains before her deception could be exposed. Beyond the immediate scam, there were darker, more disturbing possibilities. What if Grace had actually operated, but with evil intent? What if she removed more than just a tumor, assuming one even existed, inflicting permanent damage? The most alarming speculation revolved about Liam's personality. Could he emerge from this ordeal a different man, possibly with amnesia? The prospect of Liam waking up and not remembering Hope, or even worse, believing he was still married to Steffi, sent shivers down everyone's spine. The memory loss cliché was a traditional soap opera ploy, and in this context, it would definitely spark the dormant, yet ever-present, love triangle between Liam, Hope, and Steffi, plunging their already convoluted lives into more chaos. A Liam who didn't remember his recent past, or even his true identity, would be a vulnerable pawn in a greater game, or a tragic victim of Grace's wickedness. As the week of July 21st progressed, the anxiety grew. Liam's loved ones waited with bated breath for any updates on his status. The surprise visit from Sheila Carter-Sharp, seemingly unconcerned and even dancing with her bare 8 toes, gave another peculiar element to the growing scenario, raising doubts about her potential involvement or knowing of Grace's machinations. Finn, meantime, was on the verge of uncovering the truth. His drive to track out Grace and analyze Liam's medical records was the final bastion of hope for finding the extent of Grace's dishonesty. The 2 MRI photographs Grace had texted Bill, one reportedly of Liam's tumor, the other showing a clear brain, would be key pieces of proof. Were they both actually Liam's? Or had Bill been fooled by a skilled scam artist? The possible repercussions of Grace's actions were startling. If Liam's tumor was manufactured, or if the procedure caused him lasting damage, the emotional and legal ramifications would be severe. Bill would be horrified by the treachery. Liam's relationships would be fractured, and Grace, if detected, would face severe consequences for medical malpractice and fraud. The fundamental foundation of trust in their lives had been disturbed, leading them to wonder, what exactly did Grace Buckingham do to Liam Spencer for $1 million, and would they ever truly know the extent of her treachery? The explanation, like so many secrets in the sweeping narrative of the bold and the beautiful, sat just under the surface, waiting for the ideal moment to erupt and irreversibly affect the lives of everyone involved.